The slap echoed through the diner like a gunshot. One moment the young waitress was standing there, red hair pulled back, defiant. The next she was on the floor, blood trickling from her split lip. Sheriff Cole Vance stood over her, badge gleaming. "That's lesson number 1, he said. The diner went silent. This was Pine Ridge, Nevada. The sheriff wasn't just the law, he was the law. But in the corner booth, an old man was watching. Marcus Hawkins, 67, silver hair tied back, hands scarred and steady. 30 years ago, he'd sat quiet while someone got hurt. A good man died because of that silence. He'd sworn, never again. The old man stood, boot heels hitting the linoleum with certainty. For the first time in years, the biggest man in Pine Ridge felt fear. Because Marcus Hawkins, former president of the Oakland Hells Angels, had just decided this was his business. Marcus had been coming to Rosie's diner for 3 years. He wanted to be left alone. 15 years retired from the life, the patch, and the ghosts. He sat with his back to the wall. The door chimed as Sheriff Vance and 3 deputies entered. They took the center table. "Where's Rosie?" Vance shouted. "Day off, Sheriff," a new voice replied. Delilah Frost, the new waitress, stood with weight on her back foot, ready to bolt. "Pretty name," Vance sneered. "You know the rules. Certain folks don't pay in Pine Ridge. Protection. Rosie returns the favor." Delilah's pen stopped. "The menu has prices. Everybody pays. That's even simpler economics." The diner went church quiet. Everyone knew, don't challenge Vance. "You're new," Vance said, towering over her. "Think hard about making an enemy your first week." $15, Sheriff. The law can afford $15. Vance's face flushed. The slap came fast, sending Delilah down. Marcus moved. Not fast, but measured. He folded his paper, finished his coffee, and walked across the tile. His leather jacket creaked. Hell's Angels patches visible to those who knew. "She told you," Marcus said quietly. "Everyone pays." Vance spun. Up close, he saw the tattoos and the eyes that had seen everything. "Not your business, old-timer." "Old-timer. Yeah," Marcus agreed. "But old don't mean finished. You made it my business." "Is that a threat?" "That's a fact." The deputies reached for their belts. Marcus watched the alpha. "I know who you are, Cole Vance. Fired from Reno in 2014 for excessive force. I know about the protection rackets. And I know you don't put hands on women while I'm watching. You're making a mistake." "Made plenty. What's one more?" The younger deputy's eyes went wide. "Hawk. From Oakland? Jesus, he's a legend." "Was," Marcus corrected. "Now I fix bikes. But I made a promise to a man who died because I stayed quiet. I don't stay quiet anymore. Here's what happens. You pull out $20, put it on the table, and leave." Vance slammed a bill down. "We'll see each other again, Hawkins. Next time won't be so public." Marcus smiled. "Sheriff, I spent 40 years dealing with men who'd gut me over a parking spot. You think a badge scares me?" Vance left, his deputies following. Marcus turned to Delilah. "You okay?" She nodded. "You didn't have to do that." "Yeah, I did." He saw she was a runner. "How long in town?" "4 days. Thought a small town was safer. Less eyes, less accountability," Marcus said. "I got a garage 2 blocks down, Hawks Customs. Backup is good to have." As Marcus rode his Harley home, he didn't see Deputy Garrett Moss watching from a car across the street. Garrett dialed. "Sheriff? The redhead's got a bodyguard." "Hawkins." "Handle it," Vance replied. At his garage, Marcus pulled a tarp off a locked cabinet. Inside sat his old cut, heavy with ghosts. It smelled like the road. 15 years he hadn't worn it. "Maybe some things don't retire," he whispered. His phone buzzed. It was Delilah. "Someone's outside my room, trying the handle." "Lock yourself in," Marcus barked. "I'm 5 minutes out." He roared to the Desert Rose Inn and found a cruiser outside room 17. The door was splintered. Inside, Garrett Moss was threatening Delilah. "Come out, D. Sheriff gave you to me." Marcus stepped through the broken door with a tire iron. 3 seconds to leave. Garrett reached for his gun. Marcus moved, efficient, purposeful. The tire iron caught the deputy's knee, sending him down. Marcus pressed the iron across Garrett's throat. "Now let's talk. You want to press charges? We call the real county sheriff. Not this operation." Garrett limped out, but not before shouting, "This isn't over." "Can't stay here," Marcus told Delilah. "I got a trailer behind the garage. Just for tonight." As they rode through the desert night, Delilah felt something she hadn't felt in years. Safe. At the trailer, sleep wouldn't come for Marcus. He watched the moon. Delilah stood in the doorway. "Why are you helping me, really?" "I'm a Hell's Angel," he said. "The code is, never let the strong prey on the weak." He told her about 1994, about Reaper, his best friend, who died in a parking lot because Marcus froze. "I spent 15 years running from that. But yesterday, I saw another chance to stand or freeze. I'm doing this so I can look in the mirror. Maybe if I do right by you, I pay the debt." "I'm tired of running," Delilah said. "Maybe it's time to stand." "Then we stand," Marcus nodded. The next morning, Marcus dialed Bobby Wrench Morrison. "Hawk, that you? I need help, Bobby. Pine Ridge. Corrupt sheriff." Bobby didn't hesitate. "Once we roll in wearing colors, this becomes club business. It don't end quiet." "I know," Marcus said, "but I can't walk away." "I'll be there by noon," Bobby promised. "And Hawk, I'm bringing company. You may have left the club, but the club never left you." Meanwhile, at the sheriff's house, Vance was fuming. Garrett showed him research on Hawkins. "This guy built Oakland. He took 3 years in prison and never ratted. He survived hit squads." "I don't care," Vance spat. "Monday, the girl has a court date for assaulting an officer. If Hawkins shows up, we arrest him. If he resists, well, resisting is dangerous." He began calling in favors from neighboring counties. He'd have 15 armed men ready. Back at the garage, Delilah watched Marcus work. "What happens if the sheriff doesn't back off?" "Pride makes men stupid," Marcus said. "But my brothers are coming. We've faced worse than a small-town bully." By noon, the low rumble began. Not one bike, but 20. A wall of chrome and black leather led by Bobby Wrench. They pulled into the garage lot, engines cutting out in a heavy silence. Bobby dismounted and hugged Marcus. "Long time, Hawk." "Too long," Marcus admitted, looking at the brothers he'd abandoned. "We heard you were protecting a lady," one of the older bikers said, nodding to Delilah. "That's club business." Monday morning arrived. The town square was empty, the air thick. Sheriff Vance stood on the courthouse steps with his deputies and the hired muscle from other counties. They were armed, waiting for one old man. Then the thunder started. A phalanx of motorcycles turned the corner, Marcus in the lead, wearing his original Oakland colors. They didn't stop until they were 10 feet from the deputies. Marcus killed his engine. The silence was heavier than the noise. "Vance," Marcus called out, "we're here for the girl's hearing. You going to do this legal, or are you going to do this the hard way?" Vance looked at the 20 grizzled bikers, then at the cameras the club members were holding up, streaming live. He looked at Garrett, who looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. "The charges are dropped," Vance muttered, his power evaporating in the face of a brotherhood that didn't fear him. "Just get out of my town." "We're leaving," Marcus said, mounting his bike. "But we'll be watching." "And Delilah? She's staying. She likes the coffee at Rosie's." As the club rode out of Pine Ridge, Marcus felt the weight of 1994 finally lift. He wasn't running anymore. He was Hawk, and he was home.